XFM News on point.
The news on XFM. I'm Chris or Tim. The Deputy Executive Director of the Uganda Media Center, Kano Shaban Bantariza, has died. The Executive Director of the Uganda Media Center, Ofono Pondo, confirms that the fallen soldier was admitted at Mulago Hospital on Saturday and has been in the intensive care unit.
He was admitted on Saturday in Mulago with the hypertension and the related illnesses. Then he went into a coma. Since then, he has been in ICU since Sunday, and he died this morning at 2 a.m. I can't for now say about burial because there are many parties that will be involved. We're just going to start having the discussions on what to do.
Police has vowed to take action against individuals who discriminate against pregnant students who have returned to school. The reopening of schools for candidates after 7 months of closure, as well a number of girls go back to school pregnant, and UNEB asked all schools to allow pregnant students back to school to complete their studies. The police spokesperson, Fede Nanga, has cautioned parents, teachers, students, and members of the community against discriminating against the learners.
We need to let the girls know the prospects of returning to school. There is precedence that there are people who have fallen pregnant, dropped out of school, gone back to school with dedicated commitment, and eventually come out successful. So if we need to help these girls in furtherance of their education, we need to really support them and show them that they have the potential to excel and overcome the challenges that they are facing. So we are calling upon all head teachers, parents, guardians, local councils, and other stakeholders to ensure students who are with early pregnancies are protected and continue to participate in class. All our territorial commanders have been asked to take keen interest.
In court news, after a long 8-month adjournment, High Court is today resuming hearing the murder case against the businessman Matthew Kanyamunyo and his girlfriend Cynthia Marangari. The duo are alleged to have shot social worker Kenneth Akena in Lugogo in Kampala and played Good Samaritan by rushing him to Novik Hospital, where he succumbed to bullet wounds. The partly hard case had been halted in February of 2020 after the presiding judge, Stephen Mubiru, indicated that the time allocated to him to handle criminal session here in Kampala was over and he had to go back to Gulu, where he is the resident judge. Only 12 witnesses, including the deceased relatives, senior government ballistic expert Robina Chiinji, and police officers had testified in the case, all pinning Kanyamunyo in the murder. And today, prosecution is expected to bring more witnesses. Both Kanyamunyo and Marangari denied the offense and are currently out on bail. The Ministry of Finance has slashed the KCCA budget by 114 billion Uganda shillings for the next financial year. In the current financial year, KCCA was allocated a budget of 520 billion Uganda shillings, but in the next financial year, the government instead allocated 406 billion Uganda shillings. The budget cut shall affect the implementation of the KCCA strategy plan of 2021 all the way to 2025, estimated to cost 7 trillion Uganda shillings. The construction of cover of 10,000 kilometers of roads, drainage system and sewage system treatment plants in Dundu. The Lord Mayor of Kampala, Arias Lukwago, and the Central Executive Committee of the authority are said to interface with the Ministry of Finance officials to find the possibilities of increasing the funding to the city authority.
We have called for an emergency second meeting, which is going to sit on Thursday this week, to make a case to the Ministry for Finance, to make a case to the central government that these allocations they have made to KCCA are not acceptable because they are not in line with the projections, they are not in line with the strategic plans, and they are just laughable given the enormous challenges we have before us. We want to make that case before the Ministry of Finance that they should revise the framework they have given to us, the thresholds, so that it rhymes with the strategic plan and our projections.
In world news, violent protests broke out across Italy on Monday over new restrictions to curb the country's second wave of COVID-19. Clashes were reported in several major cities, including Turin, where Molotov cocktails were thrown at officers. In Milan, tear gas was used to disperse protesters, while violence was also reported in Naples. The demonstrations began soon after the national government's order to close restaurants, bars, gyms, and cinemas came into effect at 6 p.m. local time. Many regions have also imposed nighttime curfews, including Lombardy, where Milan is, and Piedmont, where Turin is. Protests also broke out in about a dozen other cities, including Rome and Palermo. In sports, Manchester United and France midfielder Paul Pogba says he will take legal action after fake news that he has quit international football. 27-year-old Pogba was reported to be quitting the France national team over comments made by the country's president Emmanuel Macron about Islam. World Cup winner Pogba, who is Muslim, has 10 goals and 72 caps for France. Absolutely 100% unfounded news about me going around starting things I have never said or thought, he said. And that's the latest XFM News.
XFM News on point.